The expansion of federal immigration enforcement activities by agencies such as Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, into interior, non-border cities, such as the recent surge observed in Charlotte, North Carolina, represents a significant shift in U.S. immigration policy. This move fundamentally reframes immigration enforcement from a primarily border-focused operation to a nationwide effort, often targeting diverse urban populations far from the southern or northern boundaries. The official justification provided by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, for these surges is the need to enhance public safety by removing violent criminal illegal aliens. This narrative often capitalizes on high-profile, isolated criminal incidents to justify broad enforcement operations. However, data and local officials frequently counter this claim, noting that the vast majority of individuals detained have no criminal convictions, and some arrested have even been U.S. citizens, leading to accusations of rights violations and indiscriminate fishing expeditions. This aggressive shift is further evidenced by the increased use of federal-local cooperation mechanisms like the 287G agreements, which deputize local law enforcement to assist in federal immigration matters, and the use of Border Patrol resources in areas outside their typical operational jurisdiction. Reasons and drivers for expansion. The primary reasons driving this expansion are a combination of political, policy, and tactical objectives. Political, signaling, and enforcement. Mandate. The move to interior cities is a strong political statement, fulfilling promises for stringent nationwide immigration enforcement. By conducting visible operations in cities known for their diverse, foreign-born populations, the administration signals a low tolerance for unauthorized immigration across the entire country, not just at the border. Targeting sanctuary jurisdictions. Interior enforcement is often intensified in localities perceived as sanctuary jurisdictions that have limited their cooperation with federal immigration requests, such as ICE detainers. By deploying federal agents directly, the government bypasses local non-cooperation policies, forcing cities to confront enforcement actions regardless of their stated preference for community policing models. Data sharing mechanisms. Existing and expanding data sharing agreements and technologies, like the Secure Communities Program or the increasing number of 287G agreements, provide federal agencies with the intelligence needed to locate and target non-citizens in non-border locales, making interior arrests more logistically feasible than in the past. Strategic focus on criminality stated. While controversial, the stated goal remains the removal of non-citizens who have committed crimes. However, the scope of targets often broadens to include individuals with minor offenses or solely civil immigration violations. Consequences and impact. The consequences of expanded interior enforcement are profound, affecting social cohesion, economic stability, and public health. Chilling effect on public safety. Increased fear of federal agents and the perceived collaboration between local police and immigration enforcement create a chilling effect. Immigrants, regardless of legal status, become far less likely to report crimes, seek emergency services, enroll their children in school, or use public services for fear of being identified, detained, and deported. This undermines local public safety efforts for the entire community. Severe socioeconomic disruption. Raids and arrests destabilize families and local economies. The deportation of a primary wage earner can lead to immediate financial instability, housing and food insecurity, and separation trauma for U.S. citizen children. At a broader level, these actions disrupt labor-dependent sectors like agriculture, construction, and hospitality, leading to labor shortages, potential cuts in production, and upward pressure on consumer prices. Mental health crisis. Increased enforcement leads to heightened anxiety, stress, and emotional distress among immigrant communities, both documented and undocumented, due to the constant threat of family separation. Studies have documented negative effects on the mental and physical well-being of immigrant families and children exposed to such operations. Erosion of constitutional trust. Cases where U.S. citizens or legally present individuals are wrongly detained, as documented in the Charlotte surge, erode trust in law enforcement and raise concerns about constitutional rights violations, particularly concerning racial profiling and arbitrary stops far from any functional border. Prediction and solutions. prediction, based on current political trends and the established infrastructure of federal-local cooperation programs, interior immigration enforcement is likely to continue and intensify in cities seen as resistant to the federal agenda. We may see a further blurring of the lines between ICE and CBP operations in the interior. Solutions and mitigation strategies. Effective solutions require a multifaceted approach involving policy shifts, legal advocacy, and community mobilization. Policy and local disentanglement. Limit local cooperation. Local and state governments should adopt or strengthen sanctuary or non-cooperation policies that explicitly limit the role of local law enforcement in civil immigration enforcement, particularly ending or refusing 287G agreements. Promote U&T visas. Local police departments can strengthen community trust by actively promoting and utilizing U for crime victims and T for trafficking victims visas, ensuring that immigrants can report crimes without fear of deportation. Legal and community advocacy, Know Your Rights, KYR campaigns. Community-based organizations must continue to conduct comprehensive KYR trainings, providing resources like red cards, which assert the right to remain silent and refuse entry to federal agents without a judicial warrant, to affected residents. Rapid response networks. Establishing rapid response networks to document, report, and provide immediate legal aid during raids is crucial for accountability. Federal reform, long-term. Focus enforcement. A long-term policy solution involves redirecting federal enforcement priorities solely towards those who pose significant public safety or national security threats, rather than engaging in mass workplace or community operations that disproportionately target individuals with no criminal record. Comprehensive immigration reform. Ultimately, addressing the underlying issue of interior unauthorized migration requires comprehensive federal reform that creates viable pathways to legal status, reducing the need for desperate measures and large-scale disruptive enforcement actions.